In the world of Silicon Valley, there's a golden rule: fake it till you make it. But what happens when the faking becomes the entire business model? This is the story of Builder.ai, a company that promised to revolutionize software development with artificial intelligence, a company that raised over $250 million, a company that was valued at nearly $1 billion, and a company that, according to insiders, wasn't using AI at all. London, 2016. The world is in the grip of AI fever. Every startup claims to be powered by artificial intelligence. Machine learning is the magic words that open investor wallets. From Silicon Valley to Shenzhen, the race is on to build the next great AI company. Enter Sachin Dev Dougal, a charismatic entrepreneur with a vision and the confidence to sell it. Dougal's pitch was intoxicating. What if you could build custom software as easily as ordering a pizza? What if I could replace expensive developers and make app creation accessible to everyone? What if the barrier between idea and execution could simply disappear? He called it Builder.ai, and the name wasn't an accident. This was the era when adding AI to your company name could double your valuation overnight. The promise was simple, yet revolutionary. Upload your requirements, and Builder.ai's sophisticated AI would assemble your app using pre-built components, reducing development time from months to weeks, and costs from hundreds of thousands to mere thousands. No coding knowledge required, no technical team needed, just your vision and Builder.ai's artificial intelligence. The marketing was flawless. Builder.ai secured partnerships with Microsoft. They brought on ambassadors like football legend Patrice Evra. They showcased sleek demos at international conferences from London to Las Vegas. And investors? They lined up with checkbooks open. SoftBank's Vision Fund, the most aggressive tech investor of the era. Jungle Ventures, Iconiq Capital, names that carried weight in the venture capital world. The money poured in, $110 million in 2018 alone. By 2021, Builder.ai was valued at $650 million. By some estimates, it approached unicorn status, that magical $1 billion valuation that every startup dreams of achieving. Dougal himself was featured in magazines, celebrated at conferences, hailed as a visionary disrupting the software industry. He spoke on panels about the future of AI. He rubbed shoulders with tech elite. But here at Billionaire's Playbook, we've learned that the most compelling stories often hide the darkest secrets. And we've learned to ask the questions others won't. Behind the glossy marketing and celebrity endorsements, something didn't add up. The demos were impressive, but customer experiences told a different story. Investigative journalists and industry insiders began asking uncomfortable questions. How exactly did this AI work? Could they see the algorithms? Could they verify the claims? Former employees started speaking out. Their testimonies painted a very different picture from the AI-powered future Builder.ai was selling to investors and customers alike. The AI? It barely existed. According to multiple sources, including a detailed investigation by the Financial Times, Builder.ai's artificial intelligence was largely a facade. Instead of sophisticated algorithms assembling apps autonomously, the company relied on something much more traditional, much more human: people. Actual software developers. Software developers, working in offices in India and around the world, were manually building these apps. The AI was, at best, a glorified project management tool, matching customer requests with human developers who did the actual coding. One former employee described it as "Mechanical Turk for software development," a reference to Amazon's platform where humans perform tasks that computers claim to do. Another insider called it smoke and mirrors with a glossy interface. The emperor, it seemed, had no clothes. But it gets worse, much worse. Customers began complaining. Apps that were promised in weeks took months. Quality was inconsistent. Support was difficult to reach. Some projects were never completed at all, leaving entrepreneurs with half-finished dreams and empty bank accounts. Yet publicly, Builder.ai continued the charade. Press releases touted their AI capabilities. Dougal appeared at conferences discussing machine learning and automation, using technical jargon that impressed audiences but meant little in practice. The company raised another $100 million in 2022, even as the criticisms mounted and former employees went public with their concerns. How was this possible? How could a company continue raising massive funding while insiders knew the truth? To understand Builder.ai, you need to understand the ecosystem that created it. The perfect storm of conditions that made this deception not just possible, but almost inevitable. In the 2010s, venture capital was awash in cash. Interest rates were at historic lows. Returns were hard to find in traditional investments. Tech startups, especially those claiming AI capabilities, became irresistible to investors desperate for the next Google, the next Facebook. FOMO, fear of missing out, became the dominant investment thesis. Investors were incentivized to believe, to overlook red flags, to accept bold claims with minimal verification. Due diligence became cursory. Skepticism was seen as lack of vision. This created what economists call moral hazard, a situation where the incentives reward deception more than honesty. AI's genius wasn't in their technology, it was in their marketing. They understood the game better than most. They mastered the art of AI washing, making bold claims about artificial intelligence while delivering something far more mundane. They weren't alone. Countless startups during this era made similar exaggerations. Studies would later show that up to 40% of European startups claiming to use AI had no meaningful AI capabilities. But few did it at such scale, with such audacity, with such spectacular success at fundraising. The numbers tell the story. Builder.ai claimed to have built thousands of apps. They showcased impressive client lists that included recognizable brands. They reported strong revenue growth quarter after quarter. But according to financial filings reviewed by investigators, the unit economics were deeply troubling. Customer acquisition costs were astronomical. Retention was disappointingly low. Profitability remained perpetually elusive, always just one more funding round away. The company was burning through investor cash to maintain the illusion of a revolutionary AI platform, spending millions on marketing while the product struggled to deliver on basic promises. Here's what makes this story particularly instructive for entrepreneurs watching from the outside. I didn't fail because the technology was impossible. AI-assisted software development is real and improving rapidly. Companies like GitHub with Copilot are genuinely using AI to help developers write better code faster. Today, Builder.ai still exists. The company hasn't collapsed in a dramatic implosion like Theranos or WeWork. Instead, it limps forward, restructured, diminished, a cautionary tale that most of the tech world has already forgotten. Google has largely retreated from the spotlight. The company has restructured multiple times, pivoted its messaging, and attempted to rebuild credibility with more honest positioning. But the damage is done. The trust is broken. For the investors who poured in $250 million, most of that capital is likely gone, written off in the quiet way that failed ventures are erased from portfolios. For prestigious funds, it's an embarrassment best forgotten. For the customers who trusted the platform, many received subpar products, wasted precious time and money, or abandoned their entrepreneurial dreams altogether, convinced that their ideas weren't viable when the real problem was the platform itself. For the employees who worked there, some found it a valuable learning experience about the startup world's darker corners. Others felt complicit in a deception, carrying guilt about the customers they knew were being misled. But for those of us watching from the outside, analyzing the wreckage, Builder.ai offers something invaluable, lessons that every entrepreneur needs to internalize. Builder.ai believed that claiming AI capabilities was enough. They forgot that real innovation requires substance. Your competitive advantage must be genuine, defensible, and deliver actual value to customers. Buzzwords open doors, but only results keep them open. In the age of social media and investigative journalism, deception has a short shelf life. One determined reporter, one disgruntled employee, one dissatisfied customer. Any of these can unravel years of careful brand building in a single exposé. Your reputation is your most valuable asset. Protect it with honesty. I raised $250 million. That impressive number meant nothing when the underlying business model was flawed. Funding is fuel, But fuel without a working engine just creates an expensive bonfire. Validate your business with customers, not venture capitalists. You can fool investors. You might fool the media. You can even fool yourself for a remarkable length of time. But you cannot fool the market indefinitely. Customers ultimately determine success or failure, and they demand real value, not marketing promises. Reality always catches up with fiction. The irony is profound and painful. In chasing the appearance of being an AI company, Builder.ai could have actually built something revolutionary. The problem they identified, making software development more accessible, is real, valuable, and worthy of solving. But instead of incrementally solving that problem with genuine innovation, they took a shortcut. They sold a future they hadn't built. They monetized hope rather than delivering solutions. They confused the map for the territory. The story of Builder.ai is ultimately a mirror. It reflects back the excesses of the startup ecosystem in the late 2000s, the magical thinking, the willingness to suspend disbelief, the triumph of narrative over numbers, the confusion of potential with performance. It reminds us that in business, as in life, there are no shortcuts to genuine achievement. No amount of marketing can replace a product that actually works. No pitch deck, however polished, can substitute for execution. No valuation, however impressive, can compensate for lack of real value creation. The real builders, the ones who will shape our technological future, aren't the ones making bold claims about AI capabilities they don't possess. They're the ones in laboratories and garages and co-working spaces, quietly solving actual problems, building real technology, creating genuine value one line of code at a time. They're the ones who understand that pretending to be revolutionary is easy. Getting on stage is easy. Raising money is easy. Actually being revolutionary? Actually changing the world? That's the hard part. And that's worth doing, right? The rise and fall of Builder.ai, a reminder that in the game of business empires, authenticity always trumps artifice. Eventually, the truth may be delayed, but it cannot be denied. If you found this story revealing, if these lessons resonated with you, if you want to understand what really happens behind the headlines, then you need to subscribe to Billionaire's Playbook for more untold stories of business empires, the triumphs, the failures, and the invaluable lessons hidden in between. Because the best education doesn't come from business school textbooks. It comes from understanding what actually happened when the cameras stopped rolling and the PR teams went home. Subscribe to Billionaire's Playbook for more untold stories of business empires,